We will start streaming. We're recording. Oh, Audacity, come here.
Wait, no Apollo?
I mean, it's only 7:30, so we can still give a few minutes. There's an Apollo.
There. Oh, good. I was hoping I didn't have to start this conversation because I don't know what to say.
Yay, Apollo.
Hello there.
Hey.
Oh, by the way, random Scyther audio, since we were talking about that a second ago. Did you know they do a Power Rangers audio drama? I didn't.
Yeah. They do a bunch of different ones.
I've learned that now, but I was sitting here like freaking out. Like, how is there a Power Ranger thing that I didn't know about? I have failed this city. Different franchise.
Do you think it's like Rule 34, or if there's a porn of it, there's also an audio drama of it?
Probably.
I didn't know about the audio drama part of that rule.
Well, it'd be a new rule.
Wait, I didn't know about that rule at all.
What did we come up with? It's
the winner topic tonight was what creates chemistry for you in a video game.
And I'm still not sure how to answer that, so I'm going to sit back and listen for a minute.
Chemistry. No, we're good on that. But you and I created a rule way back in the beginnings of this show where it was based off of, oh yeah, there's got to be a porn for it. Well, we created, if there's not, there's probably a mod for it. Which there still isn't a mod that I really, really want. And I'm shocked. I want all of my Astarian kisses in one playthrough. Treat me bad, treat me good, no matter your status.
I'm surprised there isn't a mod for that already.
I don't even know how to reach out to the community to request it. I think this is it. Yeah. Winifred's probably at work. I am also recording from remote location.
Super secret.
No, it's not a secret. You know where I'm at. If I'm not at home, I'm secondary location. So, and it's shift change right now, so I'm betting that people are going to come in. So if I dip out, it's because of that. Also, my audio is not up to par.
Sounds fine to me.
Okay, good.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay. It's nap time now, bitches. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Ship, the podcast where we analyze, rate, and review all that the world of video game romances has to offer. I'm Jennasis, the girl who is recording from remote location, so sorry if I sound a little different tonight.
And Virvada, the girl who just spent all day watching Bluey with my kids. So I feel like I've gotten an Australian accent. Or I start saying breathy unironically.
Yeah, I too have consumed way too much Bluey content. But I still like it. I don't know why. Like, it's a kid's show that I don't loathe watching.
It's so good. It made me cry yesterday because we also watched it yesterday. It was just so good. The one where it's like the baby Bingo is like dreaming and the mom is the son. It was so cute. If you don't know that one, it's probably on TikTok.
It's a good one. But we are definitely not here to talk Bluey tonight, of all things.
We're definitely not kid friendly, by the way.
No, we are not. Tonight we are joined by our lovely, lovely patrons, and we are going to be talking about that initial spark, that chemistry, that moment when you realize, ooh, that one's for me. Or at least that's how I interpreted the question. We have 4 lovely patrons here joining us tonight. 1 brand new face, but we'll go around the circle how you are and on my screen, which is also how it is on the Twitch stream. So, Bat Knight, say hi.
Hello there.
Magister Davida, welcome in. It's your first patron chat with the girls. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. I know Davida from the Mass Effect Lorecast. We've done several patron chats together on there, so always love seeing familiar faces. Thanks for joining the girls. Miss Muffiny Cake.
Hi.
I'm
Super
also
excited about today's topic.
Yay. And I think this is the first time we've had you on the show since I was able to hug you in real person life.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yay. Miss
You're
you. Come back.
Miss you. Really quick training timeout. Is Finny in your lap right now?
No, but let me just. Oh, I might have to turn off my background.
That's okay. I just wanted to know if he was there.
He's not.
He's a foster dog.
Oh wait. No, I don't know how to do it. I'm just gonna try and show you. If you can't see him, I'm sorry.
Oh. I thought we weren't going to bring it back to Bluey.
Yeah, but he's he's the Bluey dog.
He is the Bluey dog. Aw. And Apollo, welcome back.
Hello, and I have never heard of Bluey in my life.
Well, that's because the kids that you interact with are high school students, so that checks out.
Yeah, I have 2 young ones, and my wife watches it quite a bit.
It's a good, cute show. Okay. All right, getting into the topic tonight. Does anybody have an idea that they want to share right out the gate? Muffin, I know that you said that you had something that you wanted to talk about.
I mainly just wanted to see if I'm the only psycho in the room who doesn't even need to hear a character Pat Knight doesn't need to hear a character talk or anything, just like a quick glance or even just reading a bio, and then I'm gonna know that's the one I'm romancing. Like the chemistry comes through somehow, even if it's just a brief paragraph. Like I don't even have to see what they look like. I just have to know like a little bit about their personality. I just want to make sure maybe I'm the only one, but it's just something. I'll always look up the romance options before there's a game with romance options.
No,
and I'll know who it is.
You've got it confused with our trope conversation.
No. I think that I need to see the character in motion, in action a little bit before I can decide, but I can know off of a first glance whether or not I'm going to be into them. But then the voice helps.
I don't.
Yeah, I know. That's because we're complete opposite on how we find people attractive.
That's true.
I need the physical.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So, Muffiny, please explain once you started the game, you already have an idea of who you're going to romance. But what cinches it? Have you ever made a different choice after you've started seeing them? No? Okay.
No.
So, what is it then? What's the thing?
I don't know. To be honest, it's just because it seems really random. Like every game that I play, I will find the romance option, even if they're not a romanceable option. It just seems more maybe personality driven for me. Because, like I said, I could just read about a character, and if they're, I guess, morally aligned with me, then I feel like because they always have those kind of different characters. There's always one that's more of like a paragon. I'll usually be more attracted to the morally good characters that are trying their best to make the world a better place. So I feel like if I read anything that kind of gives off that vibe, I'm like, that's probably the one for me. Karlak, what?
Okay. So morality plays a key factor into it, and so does like kind of who they are as a person in order for you to feel that chemistry. But
Yes,
you don't
and
even
then-
have to meet them in the game. You can just read that off of a bio and you're like, I'm
Yeah.
going for them.
Sold. Yeah. But then seeing them and hearing them speak, obviously that will cement it for me.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I can step up.
All right.
For me, I think it's more so like dealing with their personality a good bit. Like I can see, I kind of get like seeing them, but more so like I have to hear a couple of, like at least a bit of dialogue, see where they're leaning towards, and as far as things go. And not gonna lie, also dialect and tone also helps with that as well sometimes. Um, but yeah, definitely more of a dealing with their personality. So along similar to the morality, because if someone's just like blatantly evil, I'm like, yo, you're a bit like that's why I was kind of very much so put off by like Astarion and Lae'zel toward the beginning. So I'm just like, oh, that's a bit. I know, blasphemy. Sorry. But yeah, the two of them were like very much so a little too evil for me. And then when I got to know them better, I was like, okay, that's better. But by that point, I was like already zeroing in on other people. So
Yeah, and I guess we should kind of start this off with a little bit of your history, since not a lot of people know you on this show. Who were your big three for your Mass Effect romances? I feel like this gives us a lot of history to start with.
sure. So big three from Mass Effect was probably Liara, um, Miranda, and probably Tally. Tally,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, all right. And your BG3?
BG3 is currently Shadowheart.
Okay. Did you play Dragon Age?
I did play Dragon Age.
Who did you romance in the 3 Dragon Ages?
Dragon Age 1 would have been Liliana. Dragon Age 2 would have been Meryl. And Dragon Age 3 was Josephine.
Okay, okay. Wow, that's such a wide variety of characters on that one. I don't think I can boil you down to you have a type. I'll have to think about it.
Fair enough.
Okay. So, but as for the moment of chemistry, the spark of it, you need that interaction with them to find out who they really are before you can fall for them.
Very much so. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah, looking at them, good to go. But then all of a sudden, like, slowly get to know them. And just like, no, not as much. Not much really here.
So you said you didn't think you had a type, but I heard a type, like clearly, because not all of them are religious, but a lot of them are. But they all share like a very devout belief in something with like a tinge of naivete that's endearing, and like Shadowheart is a little bit dark and kind of emo, like goth chick, as everyone says, because she's kind of sassy, but so is Liara in Mass Effect 2 and 3, and so is Leliana, and so is Josephine a little bit, like, but they're also mostly like cupcakes, like sweet, endearing, like girls they're very bookish and intelligent and have a very strong core belief in something. A couple of them were religious, some of them weren't, but they're all like Meryl, their religion's a little bit different. But then you had Leliana, and you had like Shadowheart, obviously, is very religious. They're all like got that. Liara's religious about academia. So I feel like that's the type. You got
Very
your
well
like
done.
yeah.
Davida
I
likes
am
the
actually like
cupcakes.
a pastor son background, so that definitely probably tracks.
Oh my God, V, you like, hats off, bow down, V is queen. Oh. Okay. All right. It is definitely not time for a mid-break yet. So, Bat Knight or Apollo, where's your spark?
As far as initially what will get me, a redhead will definitely turn my head every single time. But I've noticed that it depends on which, I don't know how to describe this. It depends on which filter I'm playing it toward, because I will get, attracted to, like, say obviously a Black Cat is often, I quote her a lot. Selena Kyle, your Miranda in Mass Effect. These all initially, the femme fatale always got my attention. But as far as the ones that I think make for the more solid relationship, and the one that I'm like more rooting for is, it's a tired cliche, but like the ride or die. Like, I love loyalty. You don't necessarily have to be on the same moral pathway that my character is. It helps, but at the end of the day, show me that you're loyal to me being whatever character I'm playing at the time. Me and Apollo go back and forth with the whole Tally situation, but if I'm being completely honest, my canon romance for Mass Effect is Liara, because when Shepard died, she moved hell and every planet in that solar system to get him back. I love the relationship that was built in the Spider-Man games that I've talked about a bunch. I love at the end of the first Devil May Cry, although it wasn't a romantic relationship, they did Trish and Dante did the will they won't they thing, which is it's weirdness all in of itself. But then in the last minute, there's that moment where she bails him out. She helps him. And then another one that's one of my favorite scenes in gaming, period, is in, I think, the third Uncharted game, when Nate point blank tells Elena, get out of here. I'm taking care of this. I don't want you in harm's way. You have to leave. And then, oh no, I'm going to freaking lose, the bad guys flying off in a plane. And all of a sudden Elena shows up in the Jeep and is like, get in. And I was like, that's loyalty right there. That's, man, I loved that so much. So yeah, the spicy chick will get my interest, but loyalty will keep me.
It is my show now. Jen just told me. No, just kidding. Fun fact really fast about redheads. I learned today that the word orange we got from oranges before orange was just a shade of red, which is why we call them redheads. Isn't that crazy? I had never heard that before. Honestly, I don't even know how to fact check that because language is always changing, but that sounds plausible to me. Anyway, yeah, I feel like, Bat Knight, you are not the only person ever to be initially attracted by, like, the Catwomans of the world, but the Catwomans aren't necessarily wife material or the ones that will show up in the Jeep to rescue you the way Elena would. So I can, I see the attraction, but I also definitely, as someone who is wife material, because I've been a wife for a few years now, like, that's what I want too in a partner, like someone who's there for you and shows up to rescue you from people who are mad at you because you're stealing stuff from graves, Do you think what's the spark with the one that you want to date though? Because, the spicy ones, it's instantaneous. But what do you see, like what makes you stick around long enough to be like, oh, this is that loyal person I want to be with?
If are we talking game relationships or are we talking actual relationships?
We're talking game relationships, but yeah, like it's hard. It's hard sometimes, I guess, in games because it's not like a real relationship where you actually have to stick around. But like, Yeah, but a lot of them leave you plenty of outs before you have your lock-in scene. So I guess what makes you want to lock in with somebody in a video game?
I think we discussed it. What was it? Either last episode or the one before, the last patron chat or the one before. Like the canon romance or whatever. My first playthrough is usually the canon one. And I think I've described before that in a lot of instances, I will usually go for the relationship that most reminds me of my significant other. And one of the biggest things we have, in our marriage is the fact that we're both ridiculously stubborn. But at the end of the day, it's one of those, we've mastered the art of tiny reasons to bite each other's head off. But dear God, let somebody else try to come at one of us, and it's the hounds of hell. Like, I can pick on them, you can't. So again, I think it extends to that, the whole loyalty thing. At the end of the day, I know my wife has my back, and I'm hoping she knows I have hers. So
I'm sure she does. That's a good idea. I just thought while we were talking of a way to flip this for after the mid break. But yeah. So Apollo, it is your turn.
So I kind of thought about it from a different point of view than what you guys have been talking about it. I mean, if based the way you guys have talked about it, then I'm going to go with the one that is who I would most want to be with in real life, which is why I went for Liara in Mass Effect 1. I mean, my canon playthrough is Liara as well, because I think Liara is the canon romance in that game. I think BioWare, if they were being honest, would say Liara is the canon romance in that game. But Tali's more the kind of person I want to be with. But I thought about it more from a point of view of even in games where you don't get to make the choice, where the relationships are pre-made. And I like it when the characters clearly have backstories and histories together, even if we never see it. It's one of the things, my favorite scene in any game is the Take On Me scene in Last of Us 2. And what I love is just the beginning of that, where Ellie's like, so do you remember that party or whatever? And Dina's like, oh yeah. So they have this history. They're referencing something that we're never going to get into, but they know what they're talking about. And then she just goes in and plays the song. That shows that for me shows great chemistry between characters, even though I don't have a choice in them being together. I like that chemistry. And I even unless I'm mistaken, I don't think Joker and Jack ever have a scene together in Mass Effect 2. But when you're bringing Jack off, when you rescue Jack in Mass Effect 3, they clearly have a history just with their banter in that little ship where she tells them to shut up, and then it just ends. And that's great chemistry. Even if it's not a sexual relationship, they still have that chemistry. And it's a backstory. Again, we didn't get to see it. We don't know anything, but it's just established that the two of them could sit in a room and just talk. That for me is really good chemistry.
I agree. I mean, obviously we're romance most of the time, but that chemistry isn't just sexual romantic compatibility chemistry. That's something I think BioWare in the past, hopefully in the future as well, have done really, really well, especially in Dragon Age with the banter between party members where they have their own relationships. And it just makes you feel so enmeshed in this little found family. And that to me is the best genre of anything. It's like a hodgepodge of people coming together and getting close. I love that. So yes, 100% yes. I love that. And also yes to Aha forever. That scene is so good.
Okay, I'm back. Are we at now we're me? Or do you want to go?
Yeah. Everyone's gone except you and I.
Okay. For me, I think the moment is definitely looks. I need to be physically attracted to you in order to want to progress things. But that doesn't have to be like an, oh my god, you need to be super fucking hot the whole time. No. As long as there is something about you that I can find attractive, then I can see if I want to play out the whole romance. But it also works the other way too. If I find you attractive, but then your personality starts to turn me off, then I'm not going to continue the romance just because you're hot. That's why it took me 4 playthroughs to finally romance Will, because I didn't like his personality all that much after that initial moment of attraction. But then you find those characters that hit every button and you're like, okay, this is why you're my canon. I can't explain why Garrus, because conventionally he shouldn't be attractive, but for some reason he just is. I don't understand that one. But then like Jack. Jack also isn't conventionally attractive in Mass Effect 2. But I saw her and I was like, there's something about you that I really, really like right out the gate. And then finding out that she was a romance option, I was like, yes, this is going to happen for me. So a lot of it has to do with that initial spark moment of physical attraction. Then you add in the voice. Then you add in the personality. And then it just goes from there. That's me. What about you?
I have a type. Yeah, it's the opposite of what you just said. Also, I don't know if this says something about me and like maybe I need therapy, but I definitely tend to be attracted to the characters that I can just innately sense are troubled and I can help them. Like Astarion, for example. Honestly, like I hadn't played Baldur's Gate, but it had already come out and I think I got it like 2 weeks after it came out, or something like that. But I had heard about Astarion and I said on this podcast, because I looked up a picture and I was like, ew, I did not find him attractive immediately at all because I didn't know anything about him. I just looked at him. And then the first time I ever heard him talk, I was just like, I don't really know. But like the more I got to know him as a character, now all of that to me is just part of the package of perfection that is Astarion. Like, I love him so much. I hear his voice. I see his face. I love him forever. I have literally 3 stickers and 1 pin on my immediate work zone right now to stare at. So, like, that's just one example. But for me, I think it really is that whole, like, you've got mystery about you and trauma but like the thing because that's what attracted me about Solus and about Fenris and even Garrus, like all this stuff, I could sense they needed some help and they were carrying a heavy mental load. But the thing that I love about Astarion and Garrus, the reason that they're my top favorite, I feel like, over Solus and Fenris and Alistair even, he was a little traumatized a bit too, not in the same way or to the same extent. It just keeps getting worse, honestly, as the years goes on. The characters just get more traumatic or traumatized. But they all are like Alistair, Garrus, and Astarion are just kind of goofy and silly and vulnerable in a way that Solus and Fenris weren't. Like Fenris is so serious the way Solus was. And Solus, honestly, with like my 2024 32-year-old lady eyes, I can see the subtle posturing that he does. Like he really tries so hard to come off as put together, but and he isn't like, but he doesn't let you really in the way these other ones do, which is why I'm like so very attached to Astarion, because like there's nothing more endearing than having this person who is like laid their heart bare and is like, oh, look at all my problems, I'm sharing them with you because you are special. Not necessarily like I want to fix it. It's literally just like I know about it and other people don't. I am a special person that's close to you, you know? And then he like says something silly or trips or like he looks dumb for a second. Like that to me, I'm like, oh my God, you're so awkward. I love you, you know? So that's literally what it is. Like that's all it takes. So I don't know. I love it so much.
I also need to add, in your defense, the night that we talked about Astarion to begin with, because I was like, I think I already know who I'm going to romance, and I showed you a picture of Astarion. The first one that popped up on that Google search was like beta version. It was pre-game release, and there was something just off about his face. He's not as attractive as he is now, and I don't even know what they really changed to make it, but I can see the change. So, and knowing absolutely nothing about him, you look at that version of him and you're like, yeah, no, probably not for me. I could see
Well,
that.
yeah, because it doesn't even matter about he could have been like with Garrus, he could have been a velociraptor. Like I looked at him and saw nothing physical that attracted me. It's purely his very essence, his personality, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the defining thing between all these romances that I have of my type. Like emo elf, yes, obviously, I love that. But overarching, it's like it's kind of like what Bat and I was saying was like they're that loyal person that you know are going to be there. But the added caveat of they are not loyal like that to anybody else. Like I love that so much. They're like, fuck everyone else but you, my love. I will be there for you. You know, that's my favorite. I'm like, yay, I'm special. I'm the one. Maybe it's because I'm a twin and we didn't get enough attention or something. I don't know.
Interesting. That seems like a much deeper psychological dive than what we should do on a Patreon chat.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't have to therapize myself. It's like a thing that I do. But, you know, it doesn't need a reason also. Astarion's awesome. Me and like 4 million other people are obsessed with him.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right.
See, I was going to ask. I would ask this one question about that because Astarion is one that I just don't get because I didn't like him. He called me darling. I hated him for that, and I barely warmed up to him at all. But like in a world where we're in a world of however many million people there are, if 5 million people think a person is one way and one person in the whole world thinks he's another way, who's really right? Like, and I get this is a video game, but that's like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. No, and I understand why Astarion is not your type. He's not your person. He's somebody who rubbed you the wrong way. It's why I don't think that I'm ever going to complete my Fenris run because of the way that he talked about I freaking love Gideon Emery and his voice. And Fenris is hot as all hell. Like, damn, he's totally somebody that I would be attracted to. And the voice, tick, another thing. Trauma holder, tick, another box. Like Fenris hits every box that is my type, except for the fact that he's like, all mages should die. And I felt so protective of my Bethany that I didn't want her to die. I was like, no, that is my sister. How dare you? Get out. And then, so I was like, no, I can't do Fenris. So for you, that trigger word of darling, because of the connotations that it holds in the South for you, the fact that you have those stupid guys who treat the word darling like it's, we had this conversation off air, so I completely understand that. It rubbed you the wrong way, and so therefore that character is just kind of written off in your mind. I get it.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him. Like, I do not hate him. Like, I warmed up to him. Like, I'm not saying I hate him, but I don't know. And this is also from real world as a teacher. Like, how many times have I seen girls with a guy and they're like, oh, he's so sweet to me, but then he treats, and he's just trash to everybody else. Like, it's hard for me not to pull real world in when the only person in the game I feel like Astarion was ever really nice to is me. And I'm like, man, I don't trust you. I don't trust him because of it. Although I get it. I get it.
He loves Karlach. Like, everyone loves Karlach, first of all. But he, legit does. There's quite a lot of dialogue of Astarion specifically loving on Karlach. And he's really close with Lae'zel, obviously, because they align morally and stuff like that. That's what I like about it, I guess, is because he does get closer to most of the other companions throughout the game. And I think what you hear maybe is it sounds really fake in the beginning because it is fake with Astarion, once you get past it, even if you're not romancing, if you're just like got more than average approval, he starts to sound a lot more genuine because he is, he's feeling safer and he's got his little merry band of people with him. So,
I think
but yeah,
one of my favorite.
He's very divisive, oh my gosh, divisive. People either really like him or really don't like him, it seems like.
I don't hate him. I just don't like him as much, I guess. Because I wonder how he'd be without you around. How would he treat people? If he were in Baldur's Gate without you around, how would he treat people? And I feel like he would be a dick to everybody.
Yeah, he would be under the control of Cazador still. So I will make
No. I'm saying after that. I'm saying like post game. You've already freed him. He goes into Baldur's Gate by himself. How is he treating people?
I guess
feel
it
like
depends.
He'd be a dick. Maybe not. I could be wrong.
I think it depends which way you go with him. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I felt that way about Gale initially, and it was the bug really. Like he was just, oh, your eyes are sparkling, but I'm not the reason anymore. And I'm like, you were never the reason. But it wasn't his fault. It was bug. I get it. Like, but I love Gale now. I've gotten over that. But for my first playthrough, a lot of it I really didn't like him because that's how he came off to me. Just whiny and annoying and clingy. But didn't want that. But yeah.
But I will give Stary on this. How old is he? Hundreds of years? Like if I were hundreds of years old, I don't know how I would treat people either, because I'd be like, I know so much more than all of you.
I think it's kind of like Karlach in the sense that he is emotionally stunted as well, because he was turned as a very, very young elf and has been in this like weird frozen time of enslavement to Cazador. So he's both old and very emotionally immature in a lot of ways. So I don't know. Anyway, Baldur's Gate is next week. We should probably do a mid break so we can flip this on its head and talk about what makes us instantly not like someone, even though Apollo kind of started that already.
Yeah, I think that is a great continuation of the conversation right after this break. Woo. Mid break. Do we mid break dance into the middle of a Patreon chat? Paso Doble, the Pachenko. Pachenko's not a dance. That's something else. I don't even know what that is. Mid break dance starts with a P for patrons. Something else other than a Paso Doble. What other dance names are there? A Polyadoo? No, Foliadoo is the Fall Out Boy album.
A pas de deux.
I don't know what dance move, but I'm hearing Push It from Salt and Pepper.
Slide, swish it, push it real good. Okay.
That song got me into a fight in high school. But
I can only think of ballet terms.
I didn't mean to trigger you, Apollo, I swear.
Oh, I like the song. I'm just saying I got into a fight over it in high school.
Wait, over what song?
Salt and Pepper's Push It.
Somebody was saying it, and I told him to shut the F up, and then we got in a fight.
I can't imagine you in a fight. That's funny. I guess it was high school.
It wasn't much of a fight. It just got broken up. Nobody landed anything.
So it was like a cat fight then.
Apollo in a cat fight. Oh, okay. Welcome to the middle of the show. We don't have any fun facts for this week, but we do have, of course, a new patron to shout out. Magister DeVita, hello and welcome in once again. Thank you for joining the patron chat like this morning, right? Day of recording. It was amazing. I did not pull up the list, so give me a second. I also have
the list.
Okay. You do it then.
All right. I get to thank the patrons. I mean, Jen already thanked Magister DeVita, but thank you again. And then also Toasty, Apollo, Becky, Daddy Bat Night, Stoned Mystios, Muffiny Cake, Win, Evie from HR, and Lavelini. Hopefully more of you can join us next month. Also, oh my gosh, Mary, rude. Sorry, hit my microphone. My cat. But yeah, I'm happy to see as many faces as I do tonight. So thank you. And to the rest of the patrons, also thank you. I know we don't post that much on Patreon, which I feel guilty about. But it's just like so hard because life is hard and busy. But I'm trying. I'm like the only one who posts. I need help, Jen.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know what to post is my problem. I just post the audio and then the polls and then the reminders. But that's all I ever post.
More random polls. Just some random polls.
Ooh, I like that idea.
A random poll of random ideas for what to post on Patreon. That's what I'll do.
Just make a poll about whether or not you should have more polls.
That's a really good idea. Thank you. I love polls.
Bat Knight's
Just
over
steal
there.
some from those old Reddit polls and stuff like that.
Bat Knight, I see you over there giggling like a schoolboy because you're talking about stripper polls in your brain. I know how that one's working. Posting about random polls, or there's another type of poll that we could post about. But Patreon has very specific restrictions on those.
Yeah, and they've already labeled us adult creators, so whatever. There's no rules for us now.
Nope. And I would like to go on the record once again. I am not an adult content creator. I create content for adults.
Phrasing is important.
Yes, it is. Okay. I don't think that there's anything else to add to the middle of the show, right? We thanked the patrons. We don't have any new reviews to read out. I'm also not getting notifications that we've been getting Spotify comments. I should probably go and check to see if there's any that need to be published.
That's something I'm going to say. I've had enough wine to do it. Hold on, let me find it. Let me find the exact wording. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be mean, but I'm going to be accurate. Hold on. Which one was it? Wasn't that one? Wasn't that one? Oops. Oh, I know which one it was. I have to scroll up. I went too far down. Sorry, we have a lot of episodes out now. Because you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, we have.
Shoot.
With sources.
I wish this wasn't a whim. I wish I had planned this so you guys didn't have to wait so long. I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. I'm almost there. Here it is. Okay, so with Spotify, you can leave a comment, and I love it. I want more comments because I love reading them. There was one that we saw a while ago that Jen messaged me about because she was just like, what? And I also was like, what? When I saw it. And it was from Steve. Steve on Spotify. Are you listening, Steve? You said that we have a difference of opinion about Traynor and that you loved that ship and that you didn't love us making up stuff, quote, to justify our dislike of it. And Steve said that he hoped, I'm sorry, I don't know your pronouns, that Steve hoped that we would not, quote, nag all the female or femme ships, which I just want to say, I have references, Steve. You can ask me whenever if you want to see my list. It's alphabetical in an APA format. But also, everything we say on the show is our opinion, supported by narrative fact and like direct quotes from the game. So obviously, we might have a different opinion, but like we don't make stuff up. So I took issue with that. And I just wanted you to know that, Steve. I hope you're still here and I hope you hear that because we didn't make anything up. We may have a different opinion, but that is not the same thing as a difference of fact. Thank you and good night.
Mic drop. And damn, I remember this whole conversation that we had. I actually went back and I re-listened to the Traynor episode to double check everything because I was like, well, shit, what did we lie about? I mean, it legit said that we did not support it with factual evidence. And then I was like, no, everything we said was based on in-game canon. And I didn't find anything. If you didn't like the way that I talked about it, and there were some stuff that you and I had various opinions on about FemShep's masculine energy in the romance culmination scene on whether or not the leg lift was butch or masculine. And but that was the only thing that was like really, really opinion based and not factual in game.
I guess my problem is like we don't make anything up, and we are very clear about when we're saying, in my opinion, or I think. Like, I think we do a very good job of inserting words like that to indicate to the listener that this is something we believe, not necessarily what is truth. But it is also based in the truth that we see through our eyes, our reality of what we witnessed in the game, in the narrative structure, the words we heard over our microphones and speakers that we took directly from the game. So, no, we don't make things up, but we also are individuals with our own opinions. And I didn't forget that, Steve. I saw it a month ago, and I've thought about it.
And you guys think I'm the dominant one in this relationship. So, from that...
It's always the quiet ones.
Well, okay, I'm the one who
Scared me.
writes the scripts. So I'm like, I know how much effort it takes and how many references I have and what I pull stuff from. So I'm like, listen, I have 4 college degrees. If there's one thing I know how to do, it's research. So I just don't want people to come for me about that. That's all.
Steve, if you're gonna come correct. All right.
Nights we ride at dawn.
I also very
Patrons
specifically...
assemble!
Patrons assemble! Yes. Oh my god,
Oh, I
I love it.
Well, the thing is like, I'm fine if he disagrees. I just don't like the words we make stuff up. That's where I had the problem. He can have his opinion, and he can have his trainer. Not for me.
I also know of at least 2 real world Steffens that listen to this show. And so in my head, you're yelling directly at those 2 people, and it's cracking me up inside.
No,
I'm
if you're
dying.
Steve and you hear this and you know you didn't write that, you know that's you're not the Steve I'm talking to. But if you are the Steve I'm talking to, you know.
If you are that Steve, you know. Okay. All right. Let's bring it back into the main show and continue the negative talk about things that turn us off. Woo! Okay, so we talked in the first half about the moment, the spark, the chemistry. And then Apollo did kind of flip that onto his anti-moment, his darling moment, his why Astarion probably is never going to be one of his romance options. Do you all have... Okay, go for it if you want to clarify more on it.
I did try to romance him in that second playthrough that I ended up quitting on, but he turned me down. So I was like, all right, that's it. You called me darling and you turned me down. Done.
Okay. You know what? It's totally valid. I wish that you could have the romance with Spike that I know that you have wanted since forever, but it's just not going to work out for you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think if I have one of these moments. Oh, duh, Fenris. I already talked about it a bunch, about how, like, I wanted to like him. I really, really did, because I had planned on it. Like, I saw him, I saw the voice actor, I heard, bits and V absolutely loved him, because I had learned about Fenris through V before I even hit DA2, because when we first started talking Dragon Age, I was only, like, halfway through my Origins playthrough, so I hadn't even gotten to 2 yet. And I think V said, I think you're going to love Fenris, but Izzy is totally your type, so you're probably going to romance her. And then I was like, yes, you are. But then she was like, I only want a casual fling. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm looking for a full-term romance. So I'll sleep with you now, but you're probably not going to be my whole game playthrough. And that's what ended up happening. And then Fenris was like, death to all mages, kill Bethany, she evil. And I'm like, ew, that's a major turnoff. So, Anders, hi. Okay, let's go. I'm trying to think
settled.
of, huh?
So you
Mm.
settled. I'm just kidding.
You
I
know-
want to say in my defense, I don't stand by Fenris anymore because, like, rewatching it when we did our episodes, I was like, oh. But I was very young when I played that game, and emo was never a phase, but it was more of a thing for me then than it is now.
Anybody else have those moments where you thought you were gonna really like somebody and then it just ended up not?
Definitely. I originally thought I was going to go for Sarah in Dragon Age 2. Not Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age 3. Yeah.
Inquisition. Yeah.
Inquisition. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I was just like, no, not at all. And the whole courtship of with Josephine really drew me in and went that way. Also, same thing, kind of weirdly enough, with Cassandra as well. I'm not sure if it was just I'm not sure what deterred me in a way, but something about, well, I guess the whole ideology type thing with Josephine and her really wanting to use diplomacy as a form of getting through to people really like drew me in there. So, but I thought I was going to go for Sarah originally, but it's like, oh no.
Oh yeah, because Sarah's cute. And her personality in the beginning where it's like, yeah, I work with the Red Jennies and, we're pulling pranks to try and like get rid of the bad guys in a back alleyway by stealing their pants. I'm like, that's classically adorable and totally somebody that I could see being a best friend with, like pulling pranks and doing stupid shit. But then you're like, oh, okay. And then, whether or not you were playing as a male or a female character, it immediately locks you in or out of that relationship. And then, it's also like, yeah, once you get to know her personality a little bit more, it is for some people, but it just wasn't for me.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Anyway.
It's just like crickets.
Well,
I guess Apollo's gone.
Well, I was going to say one other. So he just hit on one. Sterren just hits on one word I hate, but the one thing that I don't. So Caden, I never was going to romance Caden, but I didn't particularly appreciate that. I feel like we've said 3 words to each other, and then he's all like, "Hey, I feel like we've really got something going." I was like, I haven't done anything other than speak to you like twice. And you're already like, hey, so you feel it too? I'm like, no, I don't.
It's like that nice guy TikTok where it's like you've been friends with this guy and he's ready to make his move. And it's like POV, your friend's about to ruin your friendship. And he's like, there she is. Yeah, And I just can't. That's why I didn't like Gale in the beginning. It's like that wounded puppy, like, please love me. And I don't like that. I love Gale now. That, to be clear, that was just the glitch for Gale. But that's why I never romanced Caden either. Because I played Mass Effect 1 as FemShep. And he tried, it was instantaneous. And I'm like, bro, no, ew.
It was like that with every Mass Effect 1 romance, though. You looked at them 3 times and they were like, please, let's go.
That's true.
So it's not just Caden, but I totally get that.
I guess because of his nice guy-ness, it felt like more like, oh, come on, dude. I don't know. It didn't feel the same. I mean, I couldn't romance Ashley. And Liara didn't feel like clingy the way Caden did.
I felt weirder romancing Liara looking back than I did Caden. But that's me thing. Bat Knight, what do you got? I know you keep hitting mute and unmute.
I didn't want to interrupt anybody. I tend to talk over people. It's a curse. But no, this is gonna sound really, really petty. But as much as I keep saying that I go for relationships or in games that remind me of my wife, a big turnoff. There's one ex in my past that if a character reminds me of her, I'm like, yeah, no, we're done here. And it's why, with as many playthroughs as I've done of Mass Effect, I've never done a Jack romance, because when I started to hear her backstory, I'm like, this reminds me of that ex. Like, every red flag I had was going off all at once, and it's why I've never pursued it. But the only reason I'm doing it now is because my current playthrough is I'm doing a Renegade run. So that is, I guess mentally like the opposite of what I usually do. So to me, it now makes sense. Like, this is the anti-Bat Knight, so it's okay now. But otherwise, it was like, the first time, because when I did my first playthrough and I meet Jack, it was like, okay, she's kind of the bad girl. I have a little bit of history with that. But then I found out her backstory and the whole, there's the whole Renegade romance, throwing her up against the wall kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, this is scary familiar. No, never mind. I'm done here. And so, yeah, it's the same reason I got so triggered. Why do I keep going back to this character? But it's the same reason I got so triggered with the whole, the Insomniac Black Cat thing. When the big reveal of her child, finding out that, I'm like, oh, she's lying about this whole, spoilers. She's lying about this whole thing. Like, F this, I'm out of here. Like, I got aggressively aggravated about that. And I mean, y'all know I've ranted about that on these episodes. But yeah, as much as loyalty is super attractive, lying to me is a deal breaker. So.
Sorry, I have a cough all of a sudden. I don't know why. But yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, people don't want to be lied to. I don't want to be lied to. I think when you were starting to talk about Jack, I thought you were going to say what mine actually is, because I don't want to, like, be all mean to the nice guys, because that they're fine. I love Gail now, and Caden's fine, whatever. But my actual thing is, like, I don't like the characters that are really just the complete opposite of Jen, but like the Iron Bull types who are just like sex first, romance later, maybe if you're lucky. That's not me at all. Like, that kind of thing. So Jack comes off that way too. And I understand why. Obviously, we've analyzed her character. She's like very hypersexual for many reasons, but that is not something that I find attractive, because I am not attracted to someone just for sex. So that is an instant like, no, thank you. But it's flattering, I guess. I mean, not really for Iron Bull, because he sleeps with like everything, but so yeah, I would never romance Iron Bull or Jack. I want to be friends with her. But yeah, that's just not me. I don't know how we got together, Jen. I just saw your comment. I guess it's true. Opposites attract. Like, not in a video game for me, but in real life, I don't know.
Yeah, sorry. We can keep going, but not for too much longer. Like, we're about to do like another changeover and stuff like that. So I can either be here and you can keep the conversation going, or I can, like, I have my mic muted for right now.
Okay. Muffiny, did you have one? And then I think everyone has gone after that.
Yeah, I think the fastest way for me to personally get the ick from a video game character would be if they have an unpredictable personality, or like they're a hothead, because I find that like really unattractive in real life too. And I just can't, there's no amount of role play RPG scenario in my head where I could break out of that so much to where that is attractive to me. So I guess, not to keep ragging on Jack, and I understand why she's like that way, but she's a little too unpredictable for me. It would honestly kind of freak me out. I'm thinking the Emperor, maybe from Baldur's Gate. He's not a hothead, but he's manipulative, but like before everything about him. Obviously, you guys are going to talk about him soon. You're not really sure what his motives are. He's like he's a pretty good liar. Like in my first playthrough, I didn't really know why. I wanted to be nice and believe him because that's my nature. So I guess just because like I am a trusting person, like I don't want somebody who's going to be like all over the place, explosively angry, and then the next minute they're like fine. It's chaotic, and I don't like that. So if there's a character that's like that, I'm going to leave them at camp and never interact with them.
Yeah, it makes me feel unsafe.
Yes. Not a fan.
Totally valid for people that if you don't know, especially on a first playthrough, not knowing how any of these people are going to be, going in, like, I openly trust and believe everything. Like, that's who I am. I trust you to start with, and then it's only through your actions do I distrust or disbelieve you going forward. So I definitely have that naivety about me. I'm aware of this. Trust open-heartedly and only get burned later. I don't have very much defensive guard up in the beginning. So there's my self-therapy for the day. So I totally get that about the Emperor and about Jack too. I think that I just saw a lot of myself in Jack, and that's why I was like, okay, yeah, I think I know why I can trust you out the gate because I see you. I think, do we want to wrap it up here for the night? Good to wrap? All right. Thank you all. Let's go around the table again and shout outs, plugs, do all of your things, starting with you, Daddy Bat Knight.
All right. As she said, my name is Daddy Bat Knight. I have my YouTube channel. I'm on Twitter. And the Twitch page is actually going a lot better than I thought it was going to. I'm almost up to 120 as far as followers go. And I just recently started a Discord page, which I call the Gaming Table, and I'm actually putting the link in the chat right now. And so, yeah, I talk on my Discord server about just random nerd stuff, the games I'm playing, everything from, WWE, and I'm replaying Midnight Suns, doing a new game plus of that. I mean, I talk Power Rangers and just all kinds of random nerd shit. And so, yeah, I call it the Gaming Table. And as far as I was concerned, my little outro every time on my Twitch stream is, whether you are subscribed, following, chatting, or just lurking, you're all fellow members of the Gaming Table, and I wish you all a great day and a night.
Thank you. Magister DeVita.
Yes, once again, thank you for having me. Magister DeVita. You can catch me on the Patreon as well as Discord. Also, I'm currently working toward getting a Fiverr account set up where I plan to offer my service as a character and world building consultant, whether it be for things of the writing nature or the coming up with a character for a show or for a tabletop or whatever else. I like to be of assistance to people. So even if you want to just talk about something like that, don't worry about any charges right now. But yeah, Magister DeVita, thank you for having me.
Yay, you survived your first Patreon chat with the girls. Congratulations. Muffy Cake.
Hi. I don't have anything on the internet except my personal Instagram. So if you guys want to come see dog stuff, that's what I post about. I guess the only thing I'll plug is adopt, don't shop. There's lots of cute puppies in the shelters, and if you can foster, it's super awesome. So yeah.
I love that. Plug, adopt, don't shop.
Yeah,
Please.
I will raise you also kittens. Now it is kitten season, as we call it. The time of the babies is upon us, and we need neonatal fosters at shelters around the country and the world, probably. if you don't have a good TNR system in place where you're at. So maybe, donate some money or time at a shelter near you.
Sounds great. Apollo?
Hi, I'm Apollo. I don't really have anything going on. Can't wait till October, November though, because October we're going to see Taylor Swift again. In November we're going to see Casey Musgraves. So that's my two favorites right there. 2 months in a row. Can't wait.
Amazing. All right, and I am Jennasis, and you can find me on the Cyberpunk Lorecast, where my co-host Toasty and I talk about the foundations of the past, the state of Night City today, and the news of the future for all things cyberpunk. I'm doing this outro off the top of my head, so here we go. You can also find me on the Robots Radio Discord in our Two Girls One Ship channel. Our music was composed by the ever-talented Pipeman Studio, and our artwork was drawn by the esteemed Let's Not. Links to those are in the description, and I feel like I missed one talking point.
Did you talk about your, because lately you've been talking about
The Scyther
Cyberpunk Forecast and the
Mhm.
Scyther Audio Avengers, the audio drama?
Yes,
That's
the
what that was
newest
like.
episode of that just dropped either early, it dropped very, very recently from the recording of this show. So, yes, the newest one is out, and you will recognize me yelling at one of my patrons.
It's me again. I am also on the Robots Radio Discord and on our own Two Girls One Ship Discord server where we nerd out on all our favorite CGI significant others and maybe talk to Steve. Be sure to check out our live streams on Twitch on Fridays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time. Our podcast episodes release on Mondays because you need at least one good thing on a Monday.
So
At least I think it's a good thing.
It's a good
Sorry.
thing. It's a great thing. It's a fantastic thing. What are you talking about? So thanks for listening. And remember,
Beauty is in the eye of the controller, which literally means it's your opinion.
y'all got her riled up, Steve. Steve, you
Dude,
got
I
her
actually
riled.
forgot about it. I don't know what made me think of it today, but I was like, this is the day where I tackle it, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I'm trying not to feel attacked. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. No, you're
It's-
good.
I was
I
okay
didn't
the
want to
whole
say
time
the
you were doing
person's.
your rant with Steve because I knew that wasn't me. But then when Jen started to go, well, I know a couple of Steves and Stevens. And I'm like,
Yeah, so do I. This person has their last name on there, but I didn't want to like totally put them on blast, although people could scroll and see their comment if they wanted to. But yeah, I just chose to use their very common first name. So
Because Jack got brought up so much. Has
anybody
any
know
of
that
you,
song?
or have any of you seen that Netflix show called The Program: Cons, Cults, and Kidnapping?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because that
Yep.
that feels like a real world version of what Jack went through
yeah,
to
Yeah.
some extent.
I can't believe that's a thing that happened so much.
Yeah. No.
So one of the
it's
games I'm
crazy.
streaming tried to marry me off.
Okay. Weird segue from cultish behavior with child enslavement.
I was wanting to say, I've been wanting to say this for a couple of days, and I was like, I'm saving that for the patron chat. I even made clips of some of it, and I was like, I'm so posting this in the Two Girls Discord. But I'd have to do it like a minute at a time because I can't do long video clips. So, yeah, of all things, it's my wrestling game.
Post it to your YouTube and then put the link in the Discord.
And I guess I could do that.
Oh, okay. I am more than willing to keep this chat open for you guys if you want to hang out and all that stuff, but remote location is code word for Kid is back in the hospital with her chronic disorders flaring up. So
How's she doing?
She's okay right now. She really, really is. In fact, her monitors keep beeping because her stuff is getting too low. Like, as in she's regulating to a normal human baseline. And so they're like, wait, why is she being normal? And so I'm like, you're normal. It's fine. But no, we're doing okay right now. We're staying a little bit extra long this time because we're switching a medication, and so we need to see how she's going to react to it. So I'm going to be here for a while. But things are going good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but it also makes it very awkward because
Are
I've
we still
decided.
streaming? Or do you want
Yes.
to stop streaming? Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Okay. Good night, stream.